everyone, I'm Jordan from Good Idea Videos here today with BeamNG.Drive. Now I know this is not Saints Row 4 and no, Chris is not with me today, but you know what, we might as well make a gaming video while we can. So today we're going to be taking a look at a mod on the BeamNG.Drive forums known as the Auriga Heron 1927. This is a 1927 to 33 vehicle which was made for the rich people at the time, as you can clearly see. We'll just bring it up here. And this vehicle is powered by a V12 engine, which is kind of impressive for a 1920s vehicle, as you might expect. So as you can see, this is the non-convertible one. This is the one with the hard top, and this is the default color. As you can see, you get the fancy white wall tires and rims of the 1920s. Got the chrome step bar, and of course you do get a nice hood ornament of a, I wouldn't know what to call that. I think I call that a swan or something. Could be the name of the bird, that's the name of the vehicle, I don't know. Get some horn parts there, which come out the front, and get your turn signals on the fenders. Get a spare tire compartment, and of course you get some storage towards the back. In obviously the big trunk compartment, you get dual exhausts which run down the bottom of the vehicle. As you can tell, you can see where the exhaust, there's the tube as it goes along the frame, there's the transmission and whatnot. Now this vehicle is unique to the BeamNG.Drive forums in that it has a unique way of turning on and shifting when you're in the manual mode. Now if you're in just the typical automatic mode, as you can see, it starts up automatically, and it runs just like it should. But it gets unique. But we'll drive it in just a moment, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it back in manual mode, and I'm going to turn it off. So on the interior of the vehicle, as you can clearly see, this is definitely 1920s styling. You can tell there that there is a vintage clock, as well as a lot of different gauges, some of them big, some of them tiny. Obviously, you do get your tachometer here, and there's also a special dash mode that you can look at the gauges more closely. You have a dash there that contains a tachometer that goes up to 4,000, as it shows on the tach down here, and that's actually the rev limiter of the vehicle, is at 3,800 RPM, which is about around there for a V12. That's what you'd expect from the time period, because obviously you don't want to be breaking an iron block or something. You do get a vacuum gauge and an oil pressure gauge when the vehicle is in running operation. And actually, if I turn it on here, you can see how the oil pressure gauge and the vacuum gauge go up as the vehicle is turned on. And when you rev up, you can tell the oil pressure gauge moves up alongside it as well. So if I turn it off here, when I reset it, you can tell the oil pressure gauge goes back down to 0. And I just got I got a text message there, so I apologize for that. I believe that 0, 50, 100 thing down there is the petrol gas gauge, which is currently sitting at about 80 out of 100, as you would expect, because it's not actually 100% right over here. You also get a water temperature gauge, which is in Celsius, and you also get a kilometers per hour meter over here, which goes up to, it looks to be 190 to 195. And I believe this is the amount of boost that is being used by the motor at the time. And then of course you get a standard analog clock. If I fix the camera here, you can see down here is where the brake pedal, gas pedal, and the clutch are. They don't function. So if I move the gas here, you can see it's not functioning, but I might have to turn the vehicle on for those to function. But as you can tell, the clutch doesn't move, the brake doesn't move, and the throttle doesn't do anything. The steering wheel moves as you'd expect, and also the turn signal meter or turn signal stalk does not function, and the shifter on the floor does not function as well. If you look towards the back seat, you can tell there's more fancy wood trim. You can tell the nice texturing on the seats there, very nicely well made, and the interior is pretty much what you'd expect from the 1920s. Of course, you get metal door panels, manual windows, no locks on the doors, and it's just very rustic and very, very cool. And also, the key that you'll notice right about there, it actually moves when the vehicle is in motion. It's really cool. And overall, this is a very well made mod, and I really want to give the developer credit for this because this is a very unique vehicle. And also, the lights do function. There you can see regular lights, and there's high beams. And also the lights on the back do work as well when you're turning the lights on. Again, the turn signals, they function, but there's no stock that moves on the interior of the vehicle, so there's really no point in really using them. Unless, of course, you're just that type of a person. Now, when you're in the manual mode and you want to actually turn the vehicle on, this is one thing I had to go back to the forums and look up. You actually have to hold in the clutch button, which if you're using a controller is the left bumper key. And so you have to hold that down until the vehicle starts up. Which makes a kind of a unrealistic startup sound, but that's kind of what you'd expect from vehicles on BeamNG.Drive. And this one is a lot more elaborate in terms of its manual mode than most mods on the forums are. So to actually start driving the vehicle, you have to put the clutch in, and then you have to shift to the next gear. And you can hear the thud, and you can't just let go of the clutch, because you'll kill it, just like a normal vehicle. So you have to turn it back on, and then when you go to shift, you have to actually put in a little bit of acceleration, and then let go of the clutch. And there you are. The vehicle's in motion. Now the suspension is what you'd expect from a 1920s vehicle. It's very, very sloppy, so you can kind of like tipsy-turvy the vehicle around, and the suspension's kind of iffy. But again, that's kind of what you'd expect from a vehicle from the 1920s. And now this is kind of where it gets a little bit tricky, is when you're shifting, because this vehicle requires you to have RPM matching shifts. When you go to actually shift the transmission, it's a little bit different than most vehicles in BeamNG.Drive, where you can just press the button and they actually shift up. So I'll show you in the dash here. If you go to shift up when you're accelerating, you have to hold in the clutch and wait till that red light in the dash goes out before you can let go of the clutch. Otherwise, you can't drive it. You have to wait for the RPMs to go back down. And it's also the opposite for when you're going to downshift. What you have to do when you're downshifting is you actually have to, well, I'll get into a little bit of a flatter ground part here. You can see how bad the suspension is on this vehicle, which again represents what there was back in the day. You have to hold in the clutch, accelerate faster, and then downshift. And then wait for the wait light to go out, and then your vehicle has been downshifted. So it's definitely a unique vehicle in terms of its shifting procedures. So it's very different. As you can tell, it's very unique to drive in the manual mode, and that's why I really like it. I just think that the developer put a really good amount of detail into this vehicle to make it really unique and actually realistic in a way. And as you can tell, if you do a sharp turn, the vehicle just kind of corresponds to it, and it kind of shakes around and stuff. So this vehicle does obviously have a custom sound effect to it if you haven't already heard, so I will take this opportunity to shut up and I will let you listen to it. And then when the next time I restart the vehicle, we'll reset it, then I will continue talking again. So this will give you a little bit of time to adjust your audio settings, so that way you can actually accommodate to listening to the vehicle's custom sound. So when I reset, I'll give you a little bit of time to adjust your audio settings, so that way I don't blast you out. So here we go. Okay, I hope that was enough time to adjust your audio settings so that way I don't blast you out. I did demonstrate one thing, that you can't just hot shift the transmission when I was over in that area over there. You can't hot shift the transmission. You can't do that. You have to use the clutch, because if you are driving the vehicle and we'll just get up to speed here. You can't just go like, oh, downshift. You can't do that, because then it'll just idle. So you can't do that. So word to the wise, don't do that, because you're going to get very confused very easily when you're using this vehicle. So yeah, just a word to the wise. So I guess now what we could probably do is we could head over to another map. We'll just say maybe we'll head over to Leap of Death. Why not? Okay, so here we are at Leap of Death. This is actually the revised version that has been updated for the version 0.5.0 and above versions of BeamNG.Drive. And it also has the feature from the old versions of Leap of Death where it spawns you at either the bottom or the top, which would be somewhere over the rainbow. I don't know exactly where it would be. It's probably on the other side. Probably like way up there or something. Yeah, the ramp's like way up there, I think. Right where my mouse cursor is. So I will have to teleport up there, which is going to be fun. So let's just do the magic of Shift C and then moving the camera accordingly as we move up the map. And I'm not going to bother having you guys wait through this, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to stop the camera, and I will meet you guys when I get up there to the famous Leap of Death ramp. So I'll see you guys there. Okay, so here we are at the top of the map, and I'm going to go ahead and just do a Control R because I don't trust the vehicle in that position. There we go. And let's not do that. Parking brake. Let's get out the convertible version for this. And we're going to get it out in that beautiful gold color, yellow color, whatever it is. Something that's other than. And I'm going to go ahead and start it up here once we get it positioned. And as you can tell, the interior is very much the same compared to the other one, even though I've changed the exterior color, so that's a difference that's worth noting out. And yes, this also does have a reverse gear. Some vehicles at the time did not have a reverse gear. So I guess we'll take the jump at about 40 miles an hour here. And we'll see if we can get a little bit of close-up in this, I'll toss 8 times slow-mo on this. Oh my god. The thing just fell apart. And it's just the frame. Oh my god. Wow, I was not expecting that to just explode the way it did. That was crazy. Okay, there's real time, and I don't know why, but the game engine thinks that the frame is on fire. But that's interesting enough. The frame's on fire. It's still going. There's the body there. It looks like it's just a piece of scrap metal, that body. I mean, just look at the body. It's just right there, falling behind it. That's funny. Like, it's still attached to the vehicle, but it's not at the same time. That's really strange. But anyway, it did stop catching on fire. At least the fire effect hasn't caught up to it. I wonder if the fire effect's still anywhere. I don't know. But we did make it to the bottom. And there's the frame. It's still kind of sparking because the rim is scratching against this ground here. I don't know what that thing scraping across the ground was that on fire. I couldn't really tell. Anyways, so let's try it again. I'm gonna try and see if I can go faster on this. That could be questionable. Oops. whoa, stop! Nope, it shifted right after. Once again, it just fell apart. Like, that is insane. Like, that is crazy for a vehicle like that to just fall apart. That is just, wow. I don't know, man. Let's see, is there any other vehicle that I could, or any vehicle map I could go to that might be interesting to try it with? I don't know if passing woods would be a good idea. Let's try Death Road. That might be a little bit interesting to sum up this video. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do the Crash Test Center. Because why not? So, we'll load this up here and we'll then sum the video up. Okay, so here we are at the Crash Test Center, and we're now going to bring up the Heron again. We're going to do the sedan one. Let's pick a red. Let's try out the red color. I've never tried that. See how it looks in red. Looks pretty good in red. That actually looks really, really nice. It reminds me like a 1930s Mercedes. I think the David's Farm one, if anybody remembers David's Farm. And oh my god, I don't have the updated map because the frame rate absolutely sucks right now, so bear with me. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll start driving this thing here. Oh, I have to reset it because I switched it to manual mode and that's not going to work. Anyway, I'll just drive it in arcade automatic. I'll just align up the center module here with the little line here, and we'll get in some form of crash. Oh my god! Wow! Wow! What does the interior camera look like? Oh, there's no interior camera anymore. Wow, that thing just got ripped to shreds. Anyways, that should be it for this vehicle. So, if you guys want to see more BeamNG.Drive videos like this, then please let me know down below in the comment section and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. So, until next time, I shall see you all later. My frame rate is absolutely terrible. So I'll have to get the updated. Oh, geez, I just spilled my stuff. Ooh, that was lovely. I'll have to get to that in just a moment before too long. Oh, lovely. Fuck. Anyway. Yeah.